guys all saw. He's got a left, what we'll call it is a hamstring strain. Basically, it's more of his tendon attachment. It was the pitch that he believes he hit on the pitch that he threw to the left-hand hitting outfielder, Kelly. Luckily, Brock did not go into the picture afterwards. He's got a little tendonitis. We're going to limit him a little bit today and see if he makes his next scheduled start. There's no concern for an MRI at this point in time. His exam was actually really good with the doctor today. So we'll just kind of take him day to day as we move forward with that.
10 days out from the season.
We are.
He's still looking okay for that.
Yeah, I think promisingly we have to keep our eyes open to the end goal here, which isn't just the start of the season, it's the full season, and we'll just see how he responds over the next 48 hours. We have an off day on Wednesday too, so that's going to factor into this a little bit too.
Given that he is on some level also coming back from something,
correct.
Do those things interact at all? Does that make you be sort of extra cautious about bringing him back from the leg thing, or?
Yeah, I think you definitely take everything into account, right? You take it as a holistic approach for the whole body, and you're smart. And Brock's had some ups and downs throughout his career, staying on and off the IL. So we're definitely going to factor all that into our decision making. It's not going to be a decision just for myself. There'll be coaches and the manager and the front office involved as well. We'll kind of go from there on that.
Or Matt Cantorino?
Yeah, Matt had surgery a few days ago by Dr. Keith Meister in Dallas, Texas. He had right shoulder surgery. He had a labral repair performed. After some conversation, further diagnostic testing, Dr. Meister felt that due to the laxity he has in his shoulder, the best thing to help stop all of these muscles from straining constantly over and over again in his rotator cuff was to have this shoulder tighten back up a little bit, and by doing that he repaired his labrum. Matt will be out for the next year. It's usually a 12-month process. Could be a little bit longer based off the, he is a high velocity guy, and we'll just kind of revisit that as we get through the off season and into his starting progression.
How does he mental?
Frustrated, upset, disappointed. Appreciative of Dr. Meister's candidness in regards to what he has and what's going on and why. A little bit of the why was answered, which always helps in that process on the mental side. But he just sees it as another challenge ahead of him, and I think it's something that he'll take head on like he has everything else.
He didn't have this procedure last year.
Correct.
And just waited for it to heal. In retrospect, or is this like a year late?
No, I think that ultimately when it comes to any type of surgery, you don't want to have surgery, right? You never want to go down that road, specifically shoulder surgery, because you're dealing with a 360-degree motion now, not just the flexion and extension of the elbow like you talked about before. So I think you always approach these things in a conservative manner, and everything seemed to be hitting fine. He finished up the year last year with my BPs, don't be nervous, and came into spring training with everybody else looking like himself. So, in talking a little bit to Dr. Meister, who I'm sure most of you have read a lot of his stuff, he's very proactive in regards to just making sure that we finish these things off. I think if you would have waited to not do surgery this time, then you'd start to be thinking and second guessing yourself a little bit. So it was a tough decision for Matt to make. It was a hard wrenching one.
Is he going to rehab at Dr. Meister's facility, or will he be here?
He'll be back here. I think he's flying back this week, actually. Today, actually. Yeah.
What about Tonkin?
Tonkin is we just did some manual muscle testing with him today and some range of motion testing today. If that goes well, we'll start him in some plyos and then get him into some throwing in the coming days. It is, as you mentioned the calendar earlier, it does look like he's going to start the season on the injured list. He's going to need to get built up. He's going to need to, usually what we do is however many days off from throwing, is that's how many days we're going to use to throw you to get you built back up to mound. So if you miss 10 or 11 days, we'll need 10 or 11 days to get it back into mound. A few bullpens, some lives, get him into rehab games. So I think as we started looking at things and measuring everything out, we realized he was going to start the season on the IL. That is correct, yeah. I think that, theoretically thinking, I know the weather's nice right now, but the weather's going to get bad again. You're going to have crazy schedules because we have all these day games and night games and lack of bullpen catchers and guys to hit off of them. So, yeah, I think him staying here in Florida is probably the best thing for him.
As spring training goes on, how do you manage through a lot of the injury situation, knowing that you're in the warmer climate, that at some point you're going to adapt to going into the colder climate of Minnesota?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's really not much you can do to do that. I think the biggest thing is you just have to get yourself mentally aware of it. The adaptation of it is going to take 2 weeks, no matter where you're at and whatever environment you're at, from an outside weather perspective. So our biggest thing right now is getting our position players up to 9 innings, getting an awareness of how their legs are going to feel after the 9 innings, and then building that up for maybe back-to-back days before we get into the colder weather. And then the colder weather is going to be, we're going to have to go outside and hit BP, we're going to have to go outside and throw, we're going to have to do those things. But in Michael Tonkin's case, since it is going to be a little bit longer of a duration, he's going to get everything he needs here because they have more facility and availability here.
And one last question I want to ask about Pablo Lopez. He's a guy I've worked with the Marlins. How do you like the way that he conditions himself? Because I know he's been known to be an innings eater and a guy that can go a lot of innings and take a lot of pressure off him.
Yeah, I think Pablo is probably the epitome of professionalism in regards to his preparation and his daily routine and what he goes about. I think that a lot of our minor league or our younger pitchers look up to him and watch how he goes. Pablo is definitely a big believer in the phrase of "do as I do, not as I say." I mean, I'm sure he says things as well to these guys, but he shows them how to do it, how to go about it, be prepared. Actually, we were having a conversation yesterday for a while, Pablo and I, as I was stretching him, talking about the old days because I'm older, and the James Shields of 200 innings and 220 and those things, and those guys get paid a lot of money to do that, and those days are kind of gone, and just kind of philosophically trying to figure out why. And he has said that is a goal of his, to get to 200 innings one day, and hope I'm there to watch it happen.
Thanks for the kind words about my hat, by the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I see Topa is on the list.
Yeah, Topa's going to pitch tomorrow. So we'll get him back out there. He did well in his 1 inning stint of 7 outs on the minor league side. A few days ago down in Boston, coaches all felt like his stuff looked like it was supposed to. So he feels good. He bounced back well, so we'll get him out there tomorrow.
And the 10-day question.
10 day to what?
We're 10 days out. Is he going to be?
Is there enough baseball for him?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a baseball decision. We're going to have to let the pitching coaches and the manager. From a health perspective, yes. Let the baseball people make the baseball decisions at that point in time.
But the point is, it is likely to be a baseball decision.
Correct. If he does well today and feels good coming out of that, then we'll just keep moving forward with it. But yeah, I think so. I think we're in a good spot.
Hey Dick, what role did you play at the outset with Carlos, Royce, and Byron playing as early as they have played in the games down here? What role did you have in getting these guys going physically? Was it an issue the last?
It's a collective, collaborative conversation. It's something that really started, I think in a little bit of reflection after the 6-week debacle at the end of the season last year. There was some just kind of internal determination and discussion of how do we change things that we've been doing for the same way for the past number of years here, and collaboratively as a group, coaches and the manager and the front office and our high performance group, we all kind of came to the discussion of I think this would be the best way to go about approaching it. We are looking at it from a acute to chronic workload ratio as well, from the analytics side of things too. So I wouldn't say it was anything I had to do, but I think collectively as a group, it was something that we felt was imperative and important for us to move into next year.
I asked Rocco this a couple days ago. Is there any aspect of, once you build these guys up like this a little more than normal at this point in the spring, will there be any sort of taper the last few days? Will there be any kind of throttling back a little bit right before games start? Or
What did he say?
Yes and no, kind of maybe.
Yeah. So I think what you do is ultimately you have a thought process and you have a game plan, but you also have to play this thing out a little bit too and see. If we are pushing guys to get to 8 innings, to get to 9 innings, but they get 5 at bats and they're through the 6th inning because we're just doing really well at the plate, then I think you have to pull back a little bit and you have to think through that a little bit. And I think some of it is just going to be checking in with those individual players after they get 8, 9 innings to see how they're feeling, see how they're doing. But yeah, I think you are going to try to, I think we're going to try to front load them right now, and then at the back end, I think we're going to load them in regards to playing continuous games in a row or regular games in a row, but it may not be the full 9.
Do you really have a position player that is on this list?
As of Right now we don't. Emma would be obviously the guys that we had sent back. That would be it at this point. So.
He is not here, but still in the 40s. Does that mean you are, or not?
Yeah, I'll speak on Emma. Emma DH'd I think yesterday in the game. He got 4 at-bats. He had a good single up the middle. He had some swing and miss, which was great. I mean, not great for swing and miss, but with no pain or discomfort. He's actually going to play 5 innings in the outfield today for them down there, and then we'll just build him up on a maybe not as regular progression as these guys are going to have because there's just not enough days left. But he's trending in the right direction to hopefully break with him and get up to St. Paul.
You said Topa pitched minor league game. Do you know what day?
What is today?
Sunday.
It was Friday, the doubleheader, the split squad day. Yeah, he
Yeah,
pitched
okay.
down there. 1 inning, I think he went 22 pitches. He got like 7 outs. They just kept keeping him out there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick.
All right.